The Cowboys knock off the Redskins on Monday Night Football, and a 4-win Dallas is now one game out of first place in the division. It was the 7th straight Monday Night Football game decided by one possession. Pretty good. Herm Edwards is still here to help us out. Herm.
We need you on this one.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Yep.
It was a good football game last 2 minutes.
Right?
It really boiled down to a good football game last 2 minutes.
Did the Cowboys win it or the Redskins lose it?
Oh, boy. I think the Cowboys found a way to win it twice when they could have won it with a field goal from the 6-yard line. But they wanted to make drama and really.
So this is all calculated, like it was premeditated.
Oh yeah, they wanted to make it with drama.
Right.
You know, with drama.
You know,
and they wanted
Jerry.
to give Deshaun Jackson a chance to redeem himself. Which he did. And then you got to give the Cowboys credit, I think, for this is that. When it got away from them there, they had the ability, and it was good coaching. When you look at what they did offensively, they got their 2 star players involved, and you had to do it. They created a formation, trips, and you'll see it. They created trips, Jason Witten on one side, and they went with one back and put Dez on the weak side. And basically, Washington was in a position where they had to play man-to-man. They were going to rush, and they were going to have a plugger. They're going to bring a safety down on the hole, and he was going to bracket Witten. And that gave the ability to Dez Bryant to be one-on-one. And they gave Castle the ability to throw the ball in the middle of the field, not a hard throw, not to the boundary, but into the middle of the field. And he threw it to Dez. Obviously, he gets out of bounds. And the second time they bring Witten over, they go with a 2-and-2 formation. Washington does the same thing again. They bracket Witten. And Dez Bryant runs a slant. He gets him in position, 4-yard field goal. They win it.
Mistake on Washington's part to leave Dez in single coverage?
Well, how many people can you double? Now, you could have doubled Dez as well and just said, we're going to go with 0 coverage and have no safety in the middle and double them both and then just hope we can get there with the rush. And so that's, but they did play man-to-man. You know, you hear a lot of people say, well, if you play prevent, you end up preventing yourself winning. Well, that's what happened. Both teams played man-to-man. On the touchdown to Dez Bryant, to Jackson, that was a man-to-man situation. And Washington did a nice job, I thought, of putting Deshaun Jackson in the slot with man-to-man coverage, knowing that he had a easy access to get outside because you're on the slot guy. You can't play him outside leverage. You got to play him head up the inside, and he ran a fade and hit him for the touchdown. So both teams, I thought, took advantage of what they saw and what these 2 defenses were going to play, and the quarterbacks made
fair for me to say I would have played cover 2 zone in that spot on Deshaun because I just don't want anybody to get behind me anywhere.
But Rod Marinelli, good friend, all night they were bringing pressure from the beginning of the game. They brought pressure. They played man-to-man. They said, the heck with it. Now, what you could have done, you could have added Claiborne to tell him to play outside leverage and don't allow him to get access down the boundary and have a safety lean over there where he has to run a post. That didn't happen.
But you don't know he's going to come out in the slot either, right?
Well, whenever he's in the slot, you have to take those corners. And I know I coached the position, played the position. Tell him whenever you have a man in the middle, you can never allow that guy access outside. Because if he gets outside, you're in trouble. You can't guard it. It's just too hard of a position to be in to guard that play.
Got it. Stephen A.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I know
you
you
know
did.
I don't
You're
want to talk
sick
about
of this.
I mean, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? As far as I'm concerned, we all know about the pressure that was applied to the Redskins offense. We all know that Rod Marinelli blitzed all day long. We all know they played man coverage. We all know that the Redskins were inept offensively for most of the game. We all know that Deshaun Jackson made a boneheaded play, but then made up for it with that touchdown grab. We all know that the Redskins defense gave up a decent punt return on the ensuing possession, and ultimately Castle was able to complete 2 good throws to Dez to position them for the game-winning field goal. We know all of this. There's no surprise there. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-8. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud.
But you made the case early in the show. You thought Washington lost this game far more than Dallas won this game, right?
I totally agree with that. I totally believe that. I totally believe that, but I'm still going to give Dallas's defense credit because they're clearly the best defense in the division. They're clearly one of the better defenses in the NFL. They deserve a lot of credit for it, and you do find yourself fantasizing about, oh, my goodness, what will Dallas be like next year? You know, Greg Hardy, you might have him for a full season. McClain will be there for a full season. You're hoping Sean Lee won't get hurt again. Orlando Scandrick will be back. So you do have yourself looking at the Dallas Cowboys and saying this could be the makings of something real special, particularly when you consider the kind of season they endured. If they're able to come back healthy and fully loaded, some things could happen very, very special in Big D next season. But as far as this season,
it's over,
they're as irrelevant
completely
as they've always been.
Okay.
And you might get your runner back, too.
Oh.
Murray.
You might get DeMarco Murray back. You talking about DeMarco Murray back, Coach?
Murray and Johnny Manziel.
I thought you meant Lance Dunbar.
No.
Hey, Skip.
DeMarco Murray and
Glass
Johnny
half
Football.
full.
Yeah.
You're right.
Hey, Skip, that's something we didn't bring up talking about the NFC East. According to the reports, DeMarco Murray had a lengthy conversation with Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie following the game. He doesn't like the way that he's been used.
Shouldn't.
Obviously, he shouldn't. I think that let me tell you something. You don't have that conversation with the owner. Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach.
Nope.
You don't have that conversation with the owner unless you feel deceived. Because if you're just going out there and trying to do your job and you're unproductive, you're in no position to go and have a conversation with the owner. You're not doing your job. The problem is, if you go to the owner instead of the coach, it's usually because you don't believe you can talk to the coach, because you probably believe you've been deceived by the coach, who goes out there, give you $40 million, about 19 and guaranteed, telling you we're going to run north-south just like you did in Dallas behind this offensive line, but didn't buffer the offensive line. And on top of that, has you running east and west to the point where you look inept and incapable of doing the job that you once did, and your career is going down the tubes before our very eyes because of how you're being utilized by the coach. If I'm DeMarco Murray, I'm trying to get back to Dallas.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay, all right, but I don't want to talk about next year because silly me.
Sure. You want to talk about
this
year?
one ain't over yet.
It ain't over.
Yeah.
7-9 will win the division, right?
Okay, 7-9 will win this division.
Okay.
I believe it could be a flat-footed four-way tie at 7-9 if you really study these schedules.
Yeah, we studied them.
Okay. Right now, which team has the best record within the division? The Dallas Cowboys, 3-2. Right now, who has easily the best defense within the division? Easily the Dallas Cowboys. Who plays the second tough schedule, closing schedule in the NFL? The Dallas Cowboys do. So you got me there. It should favor Washington. It should favor anybody but Dallas, except Dallas is a really good road team. They're 3-3 on the road. As bad as they've been with no Romo, they're still 3-3 on the road. So I'm going to get back to the question here. The truth was that last night, Dallas made far more, to me, losing plays than Washington did. The truth was Dallas turned it over 3 times. Washington turned it over only 1 time. The truth is, again, I get over emotional. I'm a Cowboy fan, lifelong. But I wanted to fire Jason Garrett. I wanted to fire Scott Linehan. I even wanted to fire your man, Rod Marinelli, for the 3 big breakdown blunders that were just dumbfoundingly dumb to me. When after the big Dez catch midway, about 4 minutes left, you can't get it in from the 3-yard line for a touchdown. You have to settle for a field goal. I'm out on the coordinator at that point.
Okay.
Then again, after the Deshaun fumble, he was trying to do too much, trying to win the game by himself. Wait a minute. You mismanaged the clock so badly that you wind up taking a quick touchdown and leaving a 1:15 on the clock for them. That is dumbfoundingly dumb. I wanted to fire Jason Garrett at that point, okay? That's just me.
That.
And then finally, we talked about the play with Rod Marinelli. I don't want to fire him because he's really the backbone and strength of this team right now. But my point is this. My team has lost 6 close games without Tony Romo this year. Close games, okay? They had Atlanta down, remember this, 28-17 at half, and lost a fairly close game. They lost 2 overtime games. They lost to Seattle by 1 point. They lost at Tampa Bay by 4 points when Dez should have made a better play on the ball in the end zone, could have won that one. Right. And finally, they lost to the Giants by 7 on a late kickoff return to their guy, Dwayne Harris, their ex-Cowboy.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how close they came. That's a team that had learned how to lose close games until last night. They pulled one out thanks to a 54-yard field goal by the clutchest kicker in pro football. To me, it's possible that team broke through last night and said, oh, that's how you do it. That's how you win in spite of yourself. They finally made a couple of late plays that set up the biggest play of the game by the kicker, who's always been, to me, the most valuable player on the team in many ways. So I'm just saying maybe they figured it out last night. Maybe there's a little momentum created here.
You brought a lot of great information. So I'm going to make Stephen A. happy. Giants have lost 5 games in the fourth quarter.
Okay,
they should have won.
Three double-digit leads.
A couple guys make a play, or you make a decision as a coach. All right. Philadelphia Eagles just won a big game on the road, beat New England. I understand New England's hurt and everything else, but the Philadelphia Eagles showed up. No one gave them a chance. Well, they use that game as momentum, so we're going to see.
Who do you like right now? If you had to,
I don't like any of it. But,
you don't like any of it?
I'll go with Philadelphia. I'll go with Philadelphia. I'm hoping that win helped that football team, because that football team, and I'll give Malcolm Jenkins credit for that. Malcolm Jenkins.
Wow.
He was the guy that called the players out.
He was the leader.
He was the leader. Somebody needed to stand up in that locker room. Didn't need to be Chip. The owner spoke to the team. It wasn't a speech the owner gave. It was Malcolm Jenkins basically calling guys out and saying, man, it's on us. It's on us right now. And they went up there and they played and won themselves a football game. So we'll see going forward where they go.
Okay, so now they got the Bills at home and Arizona at home.
It's not easy.
I know.
They got to win. They got to win 7.
Stephen, who you like right now?
The Eagles.
Well, we got 2 Eagles and 1 Giant.
I just think it's by default. I just think it's by default. I have no faith in the Giants' pass defense. I have no faith in the Cowboys' quarterback situation and therefore their offense. And I have very little faith, pretty much close to none, about the Washington Redskins, because I don't believe in the Jay Gruden, Kirk Cousins love affair. I don't think that's going to manifest itself into a playoff appearance for Daniel Snyder's Redskins anytime in the near future. That's just how I feel about it. So I think by virtue of that and the fact that, the Eagles are in a situation where they can win 3 of their 4 games, I think they've got a better shot at that than anybody. I think they win the division going 8-8.
Wow. All right. According to Westgate,
they got a broke wing.
Las Vegas Superbook, Philadelphia and New York co-favorites to win the division at 2-1. We will leave it there. Up next, we head back to the NBA. Herm, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
My Lakers. Oh, boy.
Miami fans weren't too happy about LeBron resting on Saturday. Instead of sipping his tea Kermit style.